welcome to Orion Today. I'm Joe Johnson, and I am once again joined by Michael Dwyer. Michael, thanks for coming out today.
It's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You do such a great job, and you did a great job at Dragon on the Lake. We're gonna show you some highlights from Dragon on the Lake in a few minutes.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this first live show since then?
It is. Yeah, we haven't done one since before Dragon on the Lake. So yeah, we'll roll in.
It'll be
some
fun to
highlights from
recap all of that. It was good weather.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little better than last year.
Yeah.
And some different music lineup.
Yeah, they definitely made some changes as far as the headline acts on Friday and Saturday. Yeah.
So it was a ton of fun. I was out there with the Art Center on Sunday, and of course with you guys doing the live reporting from the street, which is just a blast with all those people. Absolutely a blast. And you were shooting highlights probably all weekend. It was probably a busy weekend for you.
I can't do anything connected to my personal life that weekend because Dragon on the Lake keeps me busy. Well, they added the Thursday, so things kicked off on Thursday. Then there was the lighted boat parade on Friday, and then events on Saturday, and then the boat races on Sunday. So, I even missed a family wedding because I was at Dragon on the Lake all weekend. But I tell people,
well, weddings are depressing.
So yeah, you'll see all the colorful highlights coming up. How was your weekend this past weekend? Anything good?
Well, probably not as exciting as yours, but I did go away. I went camping to the Wheatland Music Festival, which is their 52nd annual music festival.
Wow.
I drive the hospitality carts. That's my volunteer job that I do, and that's a lot of fun. I get to meet a lot of people. Really good music. Decent weather other than it was chilly, down in the 40s at night, which is a little tough camping.
Yeah, oh sure, and that seems unseasonably chilly because I always felt like September is underrated when it comes to weather. September has given us some of the most beautiful weather traditionally, but wow, it's 50s, 40s right now. Yeah, I mean, and late in the day. I mean, it's going to get warm again this week, but.
Yes, and I heard the weather say that last year our last 80-degree day was in October.
Oh wow!
So yeah, there's still warm days to be had.
Yeah,
we just had a little bit of a chill for camping, but very little rain, just a few sprinkles here and there. Sun was out. It was pretty good, and the music was fantastic. Great lineup of music this time. They have arts and crafts and vendors, and it's a festival. So good stuff. Good food. Good food. Really good food. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, as you know, I just got back from LA on Sunday.
Kind of a whirlwind, wasn't it?
It was. I spent 9 total days out there and checked off some bucket list stuff that I'd always wanted to do. I stayed at the historic and famous Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel right on Hollywood Boulevard. It's haunted by Marilyn Monroe's ghost, and we swapped stories with staff that work there. That was a lot of fun. We did have some weird things happen in our hotel room. The bathroom has a motion sensor so that if you have to get up in the middle of the night, as you approach the bathroom, the light comes on. So imagine it's midnight, 1 o'clock, laying in bed, chatting, and the bathroom light comes on. And it's like, so what motion just triggered that light? So that was kind of interesting.
Just a little dress blowing up in the wind as the ghost filters through.
That's right. I could have sworn I heard somebody singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" off in the distance. So that was interesting. Another bucket list thing that I checked off is I went to the Hollywood Bowl for the first time, and that exceeded expectations. Have you been? Are you familiar?
I've been through the airport, and then that was it in LA. So you have a ton more experience than I do. So yeah, tell me about the Hollywood Bowl.
The Hollywood Bowl is an outdoor amphitheater that's probably more than 100 years old, and it's kind of changed its look and acoustics over the years. But basically, it's a natural amphitheater with the big dome that you've seen in television and film, and the seats kind of go up into the hillside. And I saw Josh Groban, who was fantastic. and the lighting on the amphitheater was spectacular. The lights changed based on the mood of the song. Everybody was friendly, and it was incredible. It was like I said, it exceeded expectations. It was such a great experience.
So just a notch up from Wildwood.
Wildwood is a close second, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to give them some pointers on lighting and stuff like that now that I've been to the Hollywood Bowl. And then the reason I booked last week to go to LA is there's an event that they hold out there about 3 or 4 times a year called the Hollywood Show. And they get about 100 B, C, and D lister celebrities who have tables and merchandise and 8x10s. And you kind of wander from table to table and get autographs and photos. Of course, you pay for them, but they're fairly reasonable. And I got to meet some of my idols, some of my heroes. Probably the biggest name I got to meet was Richard Dreyfuss, who was in Jaws and Close Encounters and won an Oscar for, I think, was The Goodbye Girl. So got to meet him. That was exciting. Kind of a neat moment was, you know, the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There's
The original?
The original
Yeah.
with Gene Wilder. There are a couple of the child actors that were in the film. They were at the show. And I got to meet Julie Dawn Cole, who played Veruca Salt, who was the spoiled, redheaded rich girl.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I walk up with this tote bag, and I said, I brought something for you to sign if you'll sign it. She's like, well, it depends on what it is. And I pulled out a golden egg about this big. And if you remember the scene with the goose that laid the golden eggs, and she breaks in the song. So she signed my golden egg, and that is one of my prized possessions now. So, yeah.
Well,
so it was great meeting
that's a
all
lot of
kinds
fun.
of stars. And I went to a comedy show where the headliner was Jay Leno, and saw Arsenio Hall, who used to host his own talk show, and that was incredible. And the interesting thing about that is the Hollywood Improv, which the show was at, they just posted some short video clips of some of the performances from the night I was there, and I'm in one of the clips, so that's evidence. I have evidence I was at the show.
Well, I have no doubt you were at the show. You don't need the evidence. Now, when you go out there, which is, you know, once a year, once every other year or so, is there a couple must-dos that you have to see every time, or that you really tried to work in?
Oh, sure. You know, I love the studios. I've visited each of the studios that allow tours at least 4 or 5 times each. This time I hit Paramount Studios and Warner Brothers Studios, and had some really cool moments. Like at Warner Brothers, the tour guide takes us in this big empty sound stage, and he's talking about how they use sound stages to make films. And he says, by the way, you're standing in Rick's Cafe from Casablanca. That's where they filmed Casablanca. It was entirely within the walls of the Warner Brothers Studios, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I think one of the greatest movies ever made.
Now, could he have just been saying that, or can you tell?
The only proof that you really have is on the outside of each soundstage. It'll show you which movies and TV shows were filmed within that soundstage, and Casablanca was right there. So that was cool, and so I love doing that. There's restaurants that I've learned to love, famous and historic restaurants like the Smokehouse and the Formosa, and Miscelli's, which is a great Italian restaurant right off of Hollywood Boulevard. So, yeah, so it's not so much a vacation as a scavenger hunt, where we just run from place to place to place to place, and then next thing you know, you're sitting on the plane exhausted. I slept soundly on the plane ride home. so that was my week, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like it. I'll have to check LA out one day.
Yeah, and I'll give you a list of things to do.
I bet you will. But how long is that list?
It's pretty long. You plan on staying there 3 weeks to a month to get everything on the list. That would be great. Now, we mentioned Dragon on the Lake. That was a few weeks ago, but we haven't done a show since then. So I have put together a little edited package of some of the highlights from Dragon on the Lake, and let's take a look at that now.
The 16th year of Dragon on the Lake kicked off on the evening of Thursday, August 21st, with Country Night in the Dragon Pub. Audrey Ray got things started, followed by Louie Lee It wasn't the first time the festival was launched on a Thursday. The music continued on Friday night with a performance by Pato and the Magnetics, followed by Space Cat. While that was going on in the Dragon Pub, boats were gathering on the lake for the annual Lighted Boat Parade. Organized by the Lake Orion Lake Association, 10 entries made up this year's parade, which has been going on since the start of Dragon on the Lake. Participants were led around the perimeter of Lake Orion by the spectacular fire-breathing dragon. A panel of judges followed on a pontoon boat, awarding points for presentation and enthusiasm. On the morning of Saturday, August 23rd, more than 100 vendors, including artists and local businesses, set up shop along Flint and Broadway streets as the two-day art and craft fair got underway. Visitors enjoyed a wide variety of art, jewelry, and knickknacks, as well as plenty of food and refreshments. There was a kids zone in Children's Park where the little ones could create crafts or take part in activities. A tiki bar area was set up where visitors could enjoy refreshments and even more entertainment. Over on Front Street, a possible record-breaking total of 30 artists of all ages took part in the annual Chalk Art Challenge, which has been a part of Dragon on the Lake since the beginning. The pavement was their canvas as the artists spent the day creating their chalk masterpieces. Judging took place at 6 p.m. and awards were handed out at 7 p.m. in a wide variety of categories. Taking home a $300 cash prize in the award for Best in Show was Chris McDonald of Lansing with his Zombie Dragon entry. It was the first time he took part in the competition.
My wife and my daughter and stuff, we've been doing chalk festivals all summer, so all of us decided to come out.
How did you decide what you were going to do?
That was kind of difficult. Wanted to do a dragon for sure. Just kind of scoured the internet and looked at a ton of dragons and drew something up.
On Saturday night, the Dragon Pub was packed as the band Middle-Aged Kids went on at 6 p.m., followed by the popular band Sunset Boulevard, who entertained the crowd with 80s rock music. Those who danced the night away at the Dragon Pub hopefully didn't overdo it, because many of them had to get up early on Sunday morning for the start of the annual Dragon Boat races.
Okay,
11 teams made up of 20 paddlers each gathered in Children's Park for the 50th running of the Dragon Boat races. The taiko drummers woke everyone up at 9:30 a.m. with an opening ceremony, followed by announcements from race director Rob Kavanaugh. The three teams that took part in the first race of the first heat immediately headed out to the starting line on the far side of the lake, and by 10 a.m. the races were underway. Between the second heat and the third and final heat, a crowd gathered on the dock to take part in a coronation ceremony led by Matt Gibb to honor those we lost to cancer and those who are currently facing battles. 4 races made up each heat, and when the times recorded from the first heat were added to the times from the second heat, the final seeding was determined. In the last race of the day, the 3 fastest teams paddled out to the starting line to see who would be crowned the champion of the 2025 Dragon Boat races. In lane 1 on the left, the rookie team made up of representatives of the Lake Orion and Oxford DDAs were hoping for a shocking upset. In lane 2, the defending champs known as On a Mission from God were looking for a three-peat, and in lane 3 on the right, the team now known as Dragon Down Breast Cancer were hoping for their first ever win. Let's see how it played out.
Team on a mission from God, lane number 2. What a tough race. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Oh my. Absolutely too close to call.
The 2025 Dragon on the Lake was phenomenal. What a great day of high school racing on Saturday, and Sunday's weather today was beautiful, spectacular, beautiful racing conditions, close racing, and of course it always comes down to the last race.
And then came the moment everyone was waiting for. As a light rain started to fall, it was announced that the winner of the 2025 Dragon Boat races for the 3rd year in a row was Team On a Mission from God with a time of 1 minute, 29 seconds. The team once again reclaimed the coveted Dragon Cup. We asked Orion Art Center Director Holly Nicosia to look back over the historic 4 days of fun.
There's so much to recap. It was a great weekend. We had wonderful weather. Seems like a little bit of something's gonna roll in right now, but it's fun. It's so great to see everyone coming out and seeing friends and family, the business owners, everyone coming together. It's just exciting. Every night we had a fun night, and it's all really affecting how we're gonna spend our next year putting back into the community. We couldn't do it without the community. It's a year-round process of the police and fire and all the sponsors, and we're already taking notes for next year, and I'm always surprised as we get closer to the event how many people you don't think want to be involved are reaching out saying, how can we help, how can we be involved? So it's always heartwarming to see the new people come on, and then we have the veterans that year after year they're here helping us, and we couldn't do it without them.
All right, so that was kind of, I don't know if anyone would understand this reference, but that's the Reader's Digest version of Dragon on the Lake. Kind of cut it down into a little presentable package. If you want to see more, our current newscast that's airing is a more extensive look of everything that went on that weekend, and just another great event.
Busy weekend, so it's hard to condense it all down to highlights. But
yeah, exactly. But it was fun, and people look forward to it every year. And kudos to the Arts Center and Rob Kavanaugh and Holly Nicosia for pulling it off this year. So
yeah, it went off great. So I was glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. Joining us now is Joyce Donaldson, Executive and CEO at the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce. So many great things going on over there. The Chamber has celebrated 75 years this year. Talk about how you celebrated the big milestone this year.
Sure. Well, first off, thanks for having me today. I'm super excited to be here. And we were thrilled to celebrate our 75th year and serving the business community this year. So the Chamber was incorporated on June 19th in 1950. So we've been around for a long time helping to support the business community. So in celebration of that, we've kind of been celebrating all year, but it culminated in a big celebration on June 17th at Paint Creek Country Club. It was really unique because we were able to bring back a lot of the past board chairs. We invited all the past staff that we knew of, and they all came, which was really cool. The staff came, so it was kind of deja vu, kind of like a little family reunion for some of the staff and the board members. We had Dr. Master Mateo there, who actually had started the campaign for the Veterans Memorial, which was amazing. And Joanne Van Tassel was there, Carl Sorowski. So some of the oldies, but really great, influential community leaders. So, and in addition to that, we did a beautiful printed 36-page insert into the Lake Orion Review, in which we went through all the history.
That must have been fun for you, because I also went through our video archives back from like the 90s, as far back as I can go, and I liked going down that memory lane. You must have learned a lot about this community doing your research for this.
I learned so much, and I felt so invested. So we had 4 boxes of archives. Some of, maybe 1.5 of those big boxes were photos, but the others were just some newspaper articles, board minutes, all kinds of really cool stuff. And so it was hard to put down. A lot of times the only time I had time to work on it was after business hours, and I would be there until dark just reading and trying to disseminate what was important for the publication and for the presentation, and what maybe wasn't so important. So really interesting. It was super great that between ONTV and the Lake Orion Review were able to help me put together a timeline, which is crucial. So it was very confusing, and bits and pieces here and there and just kind of everywhere. And so we put that together, and we are creating a time capsule of everything in the last 75 years. So 25 years from now, that CEO probably won't be me in 25 years, but won't have to research in depth like
Yeah.
I did, but again, we were so invested in it, and we even had some staff working on it. It was the same thing. Like once you started delving in to those archives, you just couldn't look up, and you couldn't breathe, and you couldn't leave and depart.
What was the biggest surprise that you found that you didn't know happened?
Well, thanks for asking. So, for me, it was that the chamber, since its inception in 1950, had a pulse on all of the key things here, such as "Where Living is a Vacation," the tagline, which came out right after they incorporated in 1950. They did a contest, and that tagline was created, and obviously still, runs very strong today. But we met with the original sign maker, and we found the original receipt in her basement of where the chamber had contracted for the signage. That was really interesting. I wasn't aware of the correlation between the war memorial, the fireworks, the parade.
Yeah.
So many ongoing community events that actually originated from the Orion Area Chamber.
Yeah. Most people, associate the chamber with business, and the Orion Area Chamber is so much more than that. Like you said, they had their hand in so many aspects of the community, creating things that we still enjoy today. It's
Right.
awesome.
And that's very typical for chambers back in the day to do those community events like we were just discussing. Not uncommon at all. And then as the chamber matures, let's say, and becomes more business focused, it's not unusual at all for different nonprofit organizations to take those over, because the chamber then has so much work to do to kind of focus more on the business community, and then these other organizations such as Rotary, Lions Club, etc., will take over those more community aspects.
Well, and their tasks vary probably from community to community across the country based on the size of the town that a chamber may be in. Either someone's doing it or they're not doing it, and the chamber's one of those entities that steps in and takes over or passes it off.
And so, that to me that's the thing that I learned the most, but also just like being more aware of all the local leaders and their parts that they've played, just even in more recent years, say like in the past 25 years. So it was, I feel like a historian as far as the chamber's concerned.
Yeah, right.
It was just really great. So we are going to continue that at our upcoming State of the Community address or luncheon on October 2nd. I will present a State of the Chamber, kind of going back and just kind of reliving some of those highlights of the chamber for the last 25 years. And then we also have our Orion Township Supervisor, Chris Barnett, and our school superintendent, Heidi Mercer, and the village president, Teresa Rutt, that will each be giving updates on their respective communities.
Yeah, and things are really bustling and looking bright. I'm looking forward to the event just to reaffirm all the great things that are happening in this community.
It's really great, and it's always, I started it when I came here 3 years ago, so this is our third annual, and it's a luncheon. It's a lot of business professionals. I might add that it is generously sponsored by Michigan United Credit Union and McLaren Oakland. So it's a luncheon where people can gather and learn valuable information. A lot of people want to know what's going on with the new Jacobson's complex, what's going on in Brown Road, what's going on with the railroads, what's the strategic plan for the Lake Orion School District. So just lots of information packed into it.
And there's a lot going on in Lake Orion.
There is a lot going
all
on.
the development along the lake, and of course the lumber yard, which
The
we
lumber
may share some
yard.
information
We
about
will be Matt Gibb, the executive director of the DDA. He will be out of town at his daughter's wedding, but he will be on video, kind of giving a little bit of an update on the lumberyard project as well. But I don't know if you've been downtown lately, but it is looking so vibrant.
It is.
And it looks so great. And as you know, the chamber office moved almost a year ago to right downtown, and it's really been a pleasure working with all the businesses down there, and it feels like we're so much more accessible. We have people walking in our office every day,
Yeah.
and both visitors to the area as well as our business members.
Yeah, at that location, I mean, to be able to just step out of your doors and be in downtown Lake Orion where there's shopping and food, and,
Right.
and it's just so scenic. And here comes the fall time where the leaves are going to start changing. So you're almost motivated to get out of the office and explore.
Absolutely. There's a lot more places that we can walk to meetings and
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Yeah.
and then feeling a lot more integrated with the Downtown Development Authority and those business owners down there.
Yeah.
Have you seen membership go up because you're now there with them?
Yes, I feel like we have a lot more walk-ins, businesses that walk in to inquire about membership. Last year we had 72 new members. This year our trajectory is to exceed that. And then also, and Joe knows this for sure, by the amount of ribbon cuttings that we've hosted. Last year we hosted 20 ribbon cuttings, and I think by May or June we'd already done 20 ribbon cuttings this
Yeah,
year.
we blew past it.
So, and we're booked out. I think we have 3 dates left in November, and then we'll be booking into January, which was the same case last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is, the chamber is really growing. Now, of course, you get the members that are outgoing as well, either closing their doors. We've had a couple restaurants downtown that are closing the doors, a couple shops, boutiques that have closed their doors. And, with the economy, it's interesting, right? So I understand for sure if, they can't afford to join the chamber because it does come with a cost. But we try to service the entire business community and not necessarily differentiating whether you're a member or a non-member.
Yeah. I just read online that Oat Soda is changing ownership.
Yes.
And, as much as I love the place, one thing that's a great sign for downtown Lake Orion is it seems like as soon as a business leaves or closes, there's a new business in there to
Exactly.
take over. So
We have 313 Pizza, Anita's
Yeah.
Kitchen, now Oat Soda.
Yeah.
But with that, we already have somebody in 313. I understand there's someone coming into Anita's Kitchen, and then Oat Soda already has a new
Yeah.
business that will be taking over. And then next to the American Legion Hall in that beautiful new complex,
Yeah.
we have 2 new members that have already opened, and then I understand that there is a Michigan wine store that's going in there. So that'll be really awesome for the downtown as well.
yeah, and this is going to go perfect because you're going to have wine there. And I heard from a little birdie that at the lumberyard they might be bringing in a bakery. So
I've heard that
bakery,
same rumor.
wine.
And a lot of really smaller entrepreneurial type businesses that hopefully will go into the lumberyard project. We're really
Yeah.
looking forward to that, and been in constant communication with the DDA about all of the latest and greatest developments.
Yeah, yeah. We only have a couple minutes left. I want you to promote what you want to promote. Orion Women Leaders, great program you have going on there. You got an event coming up on Friday, November 14th. Do you have a keynote speaker lined up for that
So we have our big Women of Inspiration luncheon in which we have a speaker. That's in the spring,
Oh, okay.
usually held at the Beulah Estate. But we also have 2, a spring and a fall networking luncheon. And this is strictly networking. It'll be held at Boulder Point Country Club. No speaker, but just strictly to get together, just strictly for networking. And then we also have a fall networking mixer coming up on September 18th at Waterside Social. Of course, Waterside Social is one of our newest restaurants right there on the picturesque lake. And it's going to be a beautiful evening and for our members to enjoy. So we're excited about that. And then we also have 2 educational workshops. One on Wednesday, October 15th, with Brian Burney talking about mastering online visibility, reviews on social media. Going to be talking a lot about Google reviews, how to get on there, how to do them, how to manage. And then also an educational workshop on AI, unlocking business growth with AI, with Misty Morris is our speaker, and that'll be on November 6th. And both of the educational workshops will be held at Spring Hill Suites.
Okay.
And they provide a hot and hearty breakfast. It's a win-win.
That's awesome. That's great. If someone sees this and wants to get involved with the chamber, how do they go about doing it?
Well, we would love to have more participation. We have about 330 members and we're growing. You can just call me, Joyce, at the Orion Area Chamber, or Jillian at the Orion Area Chamber. Our website is www.orionareachamber.com, and a bunch of information can be shown on there. And if I have one more minute, I just want to give a little bit of a plug. We have a new network that we're creating. Our first meeting is tomorrow, and it's for our health and wellness peer-to-peer network. So the Chamber has just over 20% of our membership is comprised of health and wellness advocates. And so we're going to host our first meeting tomorrow, and it'll be facilitated by Jen Todd of Breakthrough Partners. So we're really looking forward to getting all these health and wellness advocates together in the same room to see what that group wants to become. In addition to that, we have a trades builders and suppliers peer-to-peer network that we established about 2 years ago, and that's a really great group as well. Trades builders and suppliers comprise about 15% of our membership. So we're trying to get these peer-to-peer groups going, just so that we can provide support to those different industries, those large groups of industry. So super exciting about that. I want to thank ONTV for hosting our monthly chamber networking group. We have about 20 members that meet on a monthly basis, strictly to grow their business. It's a structured networking group. So just a few of the things that the chamber does.
Well, we enjoy getting your message out and promoting and covering all the events. You definitely keep me busy, which I appreciate. So many great things happening with the chamber, and a lot of that is to your credit.
Aw, thank you, Joe. Thank you. We really appreciate our partnership with you, and as our community partner last year at our Impact Awards.
That was nice.
I do want to mention that's still coming up as well in December, so look for more information coming out soon, and nominations will be open soon.
Yeah, so think about that. Who do you want to nominate?
Who do you want to
Those
nominate?
who have had a huge impact on the community. We'll be
Always
there.
a beautiful event at Paint Creek Country Club celebrating Orion's finest.
Awesome. Joyce, thanks for joining us today. Always good
thanks
to
for
see
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, just a moment ago, we talked about progress being made over at the Orion Lumberyard. Just recently, I got a tour to show off the progress that's been made, and it is impressive what they've done
gonna be
in
wonderful.
a year. A year ago, it was full of broken concrete and buildings that were falling over, and they were a hazard. Today, you're starting to see the vision of the DDA and what they have planned for that property. So here's an excerpt from an hour-long program that I just put together to show you what the DDA plans to do with the lumberyard.
Well, the mats are back. The mats are back. I can't believe it, but we kind of looked at some footage before. It's been almost a year or over a year since we did the first walkthrough with your vision and the vision as to where this project was heading.
Well, I think, Matt, people would look at and watch this and say, well, where are they? They wouldn't even know. It is so dramatically different from where we're standing right now.
Right
today.
here, I remember barely being able to walk through, and it felt really unsafe. There was a lot of hardware. There was rusty parts. There was nails. That was right here. We were in the middle of that, and there were like broken down structures surrounding us.
Big piles of concrete. The buildings were leaning on each other. They had semi-trailers that were rusted out, and if they weren't there, then the building would have fallen over. And behind us, if you go look back at some of those old photos and the old footage, you'll see that building that was collapsed on itself. It was quite a mess back then, but it's quite a difference now, huh? Yeah,
You've been busy.
Yeah.
You've been busy. We obviously are in a very different place than we were a year ago. How are we feeling? How's the overall progress
Well,
right now?
here's the great news: is we're actually in the same place we were a year ago, except we've done the enormous work of what the DDA had promised and what we all had promised as a community. So the community rallied. We started to clean up the site. Now, remember, a year ago we were talking about we have environmental materials reports and hazardous waste. We had all of that homework done, but we hadn't started what that meant. So what goes from there till now? What people are like, where are you at? How'd you get there? So we are just over 111. I think I signed the receipt for the 112 and 113 dumpster or semi-truck hauler to remove debris and blight out of the site. So from a community,
That's a ton.
we have removed 5 acres of blight and more than 100 different dumpsters and loads. You can see one of the dumpsters, they're that size. It's no small task of what we've done. One of the things we've done, we removed more than 2,500 5-gallon and other size and oil drum sizes, all kinds of paints and stains and waste and oils. We removed 18 structures from the site. We removed piles and piles of concrete and old tires. We removed 6 different semi-truck trailers that were tucked in the weeds. You probably don't remember, we were in the back corner and you're like, we can't even see in there.
Yeah,
you know what's
it was
in
a
there.
mess. No, it was.
And we got in there and we're like,
couldn't
oh.
see through to there.
Yeah.
You couldn't see. And I remember you saying that basically there were 4 structures that, and I'm counting them. So we've got them. The 4 structures you were going to work on saving and securing, so that we could keep part of the history and then get the site clean. So it looks like you're kind of there. You're to that part.
We are there. And we've been very appreciative of everybody's patience while we do this first big important task. And so the community has asked, okay, well, how'd you get here? Like what were the steps? What are some of the things that the DDA, Matt, that you had to do, your team had to do to get here? So remember, we're doing a historic preservation project that is a community space, right? That's what we're doing first.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody says, well, where's your plan and where's the site plan? All of that's in development. So we started to do the things that were necessary to see what we had, right? So remember when we looked to the north towards downtown, we couldn't see that beautiful building that's now being painted green. And so that building is now, all the materials have been salvaged. We've used authentic historic materials to go back on that building. We've replaced the windows in authentic 1920 style rail architecture, but they're brand new modern energy windows. And we have a bakery that is signed on to join us in our community to go in that building.
You know how many years people have been asking for a bakery to be downtown?
Yeah.
And we had kind of a pseudo, somebody had a stand and they brought stuff, but we're actually going to get our bakery?
We are going to get our bakery.
So it's always a real treat for me to visit that lumber yard, to see what they're doing to it and what they have planned for it. Matt Gibb, the executive director over at the DDA, he's used AI to he takes photos of the structures that still remain and has AI show the potential of what can be there with lighting and people. And so we can look forward to a farmer's market. We can look forward to a concert venue. I mentioned earlier a possible bakery. The LO Bike and Adventure Company, which is currently in downtown Lake Orion, they may be moving their location to the lumberyard, which will put them right at the trailhead.
And the property's owned by the DDA.
It is currently owned by the
And
DDA.
is that typical that they would own such a large piece of real estate, a downtown development authority?
I don't know if it's typical, but without them stepping in, we probably would have ended up with some sort of high-rise or condo or apartment situation as you enter downtown Lake Orion. Now you're going to be greeted with a public space, which could free up parking for events like the Jubilee and Dragon on the Lake. Right now there are, the Dragon Pub is set up in a parking lot. By getting this public space ready, the Dragon Pub could be moved to that space, freeing up parking. And that, I'm sure that's huge for people, the business owners and residents in the village, to have additional parking during these events.
Well, parking's always an issue for everything, but so yeah, additional parking, more unique community spaces that service the whole residents, right? Families.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to that farmers market space because I now live within walking distance of downtown Lake Orion. So the thought of being able to walk to the farmers market, pick up some fresh fruit and vegetables, I'm really excited about what.
Because there's not it's hard to walk to a grocery store from downtown.
Well, there is that Kroger,
You
but
could get there.
yeah. But I just love what they have planned for that space. It's really going to add to what that small town charm that Lake Orion already has, but it's just going to add to it.
Yeah, it's becoming something very, very special.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
just the growth is tremendous, and everything that we have here in Lake Orion, it's just more and more.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around.
Yeah, and there's always events and things happening in the community. Just over Labor Day weekend, the Lake Orion Lions Club started a relatively new tradition about 2 years ago, I think. I'm trying to recall if this is their second or third year. But over at Canterbury Village, they have a car show fundraiser. And my coworker, Joey, visited Canterbury Village and shot some video. I believe he brought his classic car and was able to roam around and shoot some video of the cars on display. Canterbury Village is such a great location for the display of these cars. It's a lot of photo opportunities, and what a great gem that we have in Canterbury Village. As you may know, it used to be part of the Scripps estate, and a lot of the original buildings are still there. And there's car shows throughout the year. I know the Corvette, what do they call it? It's called Corvette Fest. It's the GMC Corvette Club, something like that. They have a show there.
I've been to the Fiero Car Club show.
Yeah, I was driving past Canterbury Village one time and saw a sign that said Fiero Show. So I just turned in there out of curiosity, and it was pretty cool.
It's amazing how many varieties and colors of a particular model that you just don't notice when you're driving down the road, but to see them lined up and be able to check them out inside and out, it's if you're a car buff,
yeah,
or you have a particular fond memory of a car you used to drive, which I had a Fiero, it was fun. It was just fun.
One of the most interesting things I discovered at the Fiero show was as I was walking around, I saw what looked like a Ferrari, similar to the one that Magnum PI drove. I think it's like a 308 GT or something like that. And so of course I'm like, why is there a Ferrari here at the Fiero show? And they said, it's not a Ferrari, it's a Fiero with kind of a kit to make it look like a Ferrari. And I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, because of the small build that the Fiero had, a lot of kit cars were made that you pop off the body and you could put on, make it anything that you want.
Yeah, yeah. Now, coming up this weekend is a major event over at the Wildwood Amphitheater. I'm not sure what year it is in right now, but Ellopalooza returns with a lengthy list of performers who are going to be at Wildwood Amphitheater this Saturday. Kicking things off, we got, let's see here, One Ton Trolley at 1 p.m. Is going to start things off. At 2 p.m. we have Ember and Ash. At 3 p.m. The always popular Levi Bootcut in the straight legs. And let's see, 5 p.m. we have the Gasoline Gypsies. 7 p.m. Native, I'm trying to read my own writing here. Native Howl is at 7 p.m. And then headlining the shindig is Sunset Boulevard, who we saw at Dragon on the Lake, and they put on a great show.
Yeah, people love that show.
Yeah, they look like a hair metal band, and they play popular rock songs and pop songs from the 80s, and I was very impressed seeing them at Dragon on the Lake. So they're going to be closing up Ellopalooza. Now, Ellopalooza is a fundraiser for the Daisy Project Michigan, where they try to make the world a little bit more accessible to people with disabilities and like take let's say if you're in a wheelchair and you go to the beach, it's very, very challenging to reach the water.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to have a specialized chair for that.
Yeah. So what the Daisy Project does is put like these mats down that go up to the water, and so now you just wheel your chair on this mat all the way to the water, and you could frolic in the water if you want. So that's their goal, is to make the world more accessible. I remember years ago with the Orion Township playground that they were proud to announce. Some concerned parents approached the township and said, well, what about our children who can't climb on the playscape? And the people of the township were like, oh yeah, we didn't take that into consideration. So partnering with the township, the Daisy Project has put in playground equipment that you can wheel a chair right up to it and get on the little carousel, or there's all sorts of things. So what they're doing is just making the world more accessible to people who don't have access to that sort of stuff. So it's a really great project. It's a really great day, and full lineup of music at the Wildwood Amphitheater.
So buy a ticket, enjoy the tunes, and know that it's going to a good place.
Yeah, and there's vendors and food and all sorts of stuff. So support the cause and have a great day out in Wildwood, which again is a really great gem of a place here in Orion Township. So
it is. It's wonderful, and I know we do some live shows out there. We bring out the cameras and record. I think, is it Thursday nights we were doing this year?
Thursday night is Wildwood, and that's a great segue because on Wednesday nights over in the village we have LO Live, which is put together by the Lake Orion DDA in conjunction with 20 Front Street, and they line up some really amazing talent. Now, weather permitting, they play in the gazebo. If the weather doesn't cooperate, they move over to 20 Front Street, which is a beautiful concert venue. So we're going to show you a clip from a recent performance by Buffalo Rose. Take it away.
Quilted jacket, I put my hand in the pocket, crumpled napkin, maybe from Rome where you bought it, held your body so many years, now it's holding mine, it's all a matter of time. Knitted mittens, cover my hands in the winter, swimsuit and boots, feels like so long since I've been hurt. Warm house, soft hands, worth every hour we had to drive. Still wanna run inside, and I'm still writing letters to you, knowing nothing's gonna reach you. But what can I do with all this leftover love? Farmer's daughter, 11 sisters and brothers, sneaking peaches, tossing the pits down the gutter. Some people change as they get older, but never you. You're always you. I don't believe there's a whole lot that comes after. Just want to be a song ringing out in the rafters. Now I find you and I'm reading the paper and making pies. We're walking home on these quiet November nights, and I'm still writing letters to you, knowing nothing's gonna reach you. But what can I do?
Well, that was nice, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it looked fun.
Buffalo Rose. I'm going to have to watch that program in its entirety. You saw that if you visit our YouTube channel, you can watch it in its entirety. You can also find it on our website, orionontv.org. So yeah, great things.
So whether it's outdoors or indoors, we've got the whole recording of those shows on Wednesday night.
Yeah, you can relive the entire concert series, whether it's Wildwood or LO Live in the Village. They're all documented and available to watch on demand. We were talking about some events coming up earlier. There's some more events I want to plug. Orion Township Parks and Rec, they have a really great event they do every year at Camp Agawam called the Fall Festival of Family Fun. If the weather cooperates, it is a beautiful event. You can see there they have a hay wagon ride over to a pumpkin patch. At the pumpkin patch, kids can roast marshmallows and make s'mores and pick a pumpkin that they can take home. There's a petting zoo, there's carnival games, food and fun for the entire family. Of course, the Kaboom Playground, which was built a number of years ago, is a great attraction for kids to have fun on. There's the pumpkin patch. It's, you know, if you're in the fall like I am, I love everything fall related. I really look forward to this event. It really puts you in that mindset.
Now, is Clarkson going to be open by then?
Let's hope so. I really hope so. From what I heard, it's not quite ready yet, and I was hoping going away for a week I'd come back and everything would be done, but that's not quite the case yet.
No, it's kind of like they waited to the end to wrap up every project in this town.
Yeah, yeah. So let's cross our fingers. We still have almost 2 weeks until the Fall Festival of Family Fun. Let's hope the road's open by then and go out there and enjoy a nice day with family and photo ops and things like that. Also, another event that I'm looking forward to, the same day, that's September 20th, which is a Saturday, that evening is this zombie walk. Are you familiar with the zombie walk at all?
Well, yeah, you keep telling me about it, so yeah, I know it's one of your favorites. Now, do you do the walk, or do you just take pictures?
I just document it, but I do really enjoy it. And so everybody meets at Ed's Broadway Gifts and Costume at the corner of Flint and Broadway in downtown Lake Orion. And they usually get about 30 to 40 people, and either they show up in makeup or they have a makeup station in front of Ed's where they can apply some really high quality zombie makeup to you. And basically it's you like to call it a pub crawl, but it's more of like a stagger and lurch kind of a thing. And you go to several businesses and eateries in downtown Lake Orion and enjoy specials and hors d'oeuvres and drinks. And if you choose to, you can take part in a poker run. So at each location, you're given a playing card in an envelope. And at the end of the day, whoever has the best hand wins part of a 50-50.
So you can't open those envelopes until the end.
Until the end to see what hand.
And then you find out if you can win the hand of poker. So they're doing the walk, and it's kind of like this crawl where they're hitting all these different establishments as part of doing it.
Exactly. And it's a fundraiser, and that's the best part. It started out as sort of a birthday celebration for Lloyd Coe, who owns Edway Broadway Gifts and Costume. And they wanted it to benefit a community organization, so what they do is raise funds for the annual Orion Lighted Christmas Parade. So it's a fundraiser, and it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't done it on Saturday, September 20th, I think they start to lurch and stagger about 8 o'clock, so you might want to get there at 7 or so if you need makeup applied, and have fun. And it's a great way to just go from establishment to establishment in downtown Lake Orion, maybe scare a couple people sitting at the lights there at the intersection. And for me, it feels like the start of the Halloween season when you see people in zombie makeup roaming around downtown Lake Orion. It's on. Halloween is here.
It is, and you know, maybe I'll come and watch the first one, but I won't participate. And I'll just watch from the sidelines.
There you go. All right. And speaking of upcoming ceremonies, there's a big one this Thursday, which happens to be September 11th. There's a ceremony planned at the Orion Veterans Memorial. They've been doing it since the beginning. It's hard to believe that next year will be 25 years since the 9/11 tragedy, which they now refer to as Patriot Day. It's more of a celebration of first responders. And so that's taking place this Thursday around 7 p.m., I believe. And we have a little excerpt from an interview we did recently to promote a Patriot Day ceremony at the Orion Veterans Memorial.
Hello everyone, I'm Penny Schultz. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Orion Outreach. It's going to be a special day hearing from former Orion Township Fire Chief Bob Smith. He wants to invite everyone to join them on September 11th at the Orion Veterans Memorial. Thank you for joining us. Chief, it's great to have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You look very handsome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're all geared up. I'm glad to see you are retired
Yes.
and enjoying life.
Yes, I am. Not enjoying life, but I'm retired.
Yeah, you always got a smile on your face. We know you're involved in a lot of things in the community.
I try to be, yes.
Thank you so much for hosting this event on September 11th. Tell us what that is.
It's a day of remembrance for those that lost their lives at the 9/11 ceremony, or the 9/11 crash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something very dear to me because I believe that people need to know and remember. And if you stop and think about it, it happened in 2001. So anybody that was born 2025 or beyond will only hear stories about it. They'll never know what really happened.
It was quite a tragedy for our nation to experience that, and I know the first responders were right there to help everyone in need. Talk about that.
Well, I get emotional every year when I think about it because, you know, being a fire chief or a former fire chief, you're always having, you know, you're going to normal fires and that, you're always asking your people to go in and, you know, try to put it out and stuff like that. And it ended up 343 of our firefighters passed away trying to save these people that day.
Mm-hmm.
And this was such a senseless act. It was totally uncalled for. We had 4 planes, but there was a total of 19. The rest of them either chickened out or got stopped beforehand, or it could have been a lot worse.
Yes.
And there's a commercial out, Dodge Ram has it out now, and says, one thing we can't get over is being American. And that's what happens. You know, we're right now, you know, there's a big upheaval with the election, or, you know, I don't care what, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you know, we got all this inbreeding and arguing and all that stuff, but at the same time, we're still Americans.
We sure are.
And if, heaven forbid, if anything like that ever happened again, we would come together.
It's a Patriots
Yeah.
program that's coming on September 11th. You have a partnership with other agencies in the community. Can we talk about some of those partnerships, Bob?
Well, every year, when I took this over about 14 years ago, I made a first responders program. I use first responders for our honor guard. I use first responders to speak and everything like that. Because, you know, the veterans have their day. They have Memorial Day, they have Veterans Day and stuff like that. But this is, you know, and we actually call the military people first responders now too, ever since 9/11. But still, it was the police officers and the firefighters and the Port Authority people that went into those buildings to try to save people and stuff like that. So I try to do that.
We were in shock as a nation for a long time.
Yes, we were.
So be sure to show up at the Orion Veterans Memorial this Thursday. I believe the event starts at 7 p.m. and it's a great way to honor our police, fire, paramedics, EMS, you name it, on Patriot Day. I'm glad we've rebranded it as a celebration of those who rush toward danger. So
Absolutely.
with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Orion Today. Michael, thanks for joining us again.
My pleasure to be here.
And
always
hopefully we'll
fun.
see you soon.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Goodbye.